They told me women couldn't be soldiers. They told me the Army was no place for someone like me. Life in Missouri meant knowing the boundary of every fence, the weight of every chore, and the silence of a voice never heard. I was born to an enslaved mother and a free father, but the law said I belonged to the land. They told me my job was to serve, not to fight. In 1861, the world changed. The Union Army moved through Missouri like a blue tide. We watched from the shadows, wondering if that blue cloth meant the end of our chains or just a new kind of master. I didn't choose that life. None of us did. I worked in the house of my enslaver, cooking, cleaning, serving, watching a world I was never meant to belong to. Then the Civil War came, and everything started to shift. And this is the story they never expected to be told. And the receipts are powerful. I was taken by the Union Army and labeled contraband, pressed into service with the 8th Indiana Volunteer Infantry. Not a soldier, just labor, cooking the meat, washing the uniforms, scrubbing away the blood of a war that wasn't supposed to belong to me. Welcome back to Receipts from the Past, where we tell the stories history forgot. The stories that didn't make the textbooks, but still made history. From the woman who became a soldier when women weren't allowed to fight. I followed the Army through the war, moving from place to place, seeing more of the world than I ever thought I would. By the time the war ended, the woman who left Missouri was gone. A survivor had taken her place. For the first time in my life, I was close to freedom. As a cook, a washer, a servant, but still moving forward, still watching. Still waiting for something more. Then I heard something. The Army was recruiting soldiers to serve in the West. They needed men. Only men. So I made a decision. If they wouldn't let me join as a woman, I would join as a man. In 1866, I cut my hair, put on men's clothes, and took the name William Cathay. I enlisted in St. Louis, Missouri. Not long after enlisting, smallpox took me down. I lay in the hospital at Jefferson Barracks, shivering under thin blankets, knowing one wrong move could end everything. But I recovered. I stood up, cinched my belt tighter, and marched out to join my unit. Only 2 people knew my secret, a cousin and a friend. They kept the silence, and I kept the pace. No one stopped me. No one asked questions. I became part of the 38th U.S. Infantry Regiment. I lived as a soldier. Every day, I feared being discovered. Not by the enemy, by my own army. We were sent west, New Mexico, Texas, Colorado. Hard land, hard weather, hard life. We marched from Fort Riley to Fort Harker, and eventually deep into the New Mexico territory. Fort Cummings, Fort Bayard. Remote outposts where the wind never stopped howling and the sun never stopped burning. I did everything the men did. I carried the same rifle. I ate the same hardtack. I bled the same red. The work was heavy. The food was rough. And I had to hide the truth every single day. For nearly 2 years, I lived as a man. Not because I wanted to lie, because it was the only way to live free. In 1868, my health began to fail. The doctor examined me, and the truth came out. I was discharged from the Army, not for fighting, not for breaking rules, for being a woman. After leaving the Army, I worked where I could, cooking, washing, anything that paid. Years later, I applied for a military pension. I had served. I had worn the uniform. I had done the work. But the government said no. They said my service didn't count. Still, the truth didn't disappear. I had done something no woman was supposed to do. I became the only known woman to serve as a Buffalo soldier. That is a receipt. I didn't fight for fame. I fought for a chance to live free, a chance to earn my own way. After the uniform was gone, I became Cathay Williams. I lived in Pueblo, then Trinidad. I owned a boarding house. I worked as a seamstress. For a while, I found a different kind of peace, one that didn't require a rifle or a lie, a chance to prove courage doesn't belong to one gender. Today, my story is remembered, not because the Army wrote it down, but my body remembered the marches. Diabetes and neuralgia took my strength. By 1891, I was walking with crutches. They had to amputate all my toes. I was a soldier who had lost her footing in the world she helped defend because the truth survived. My name is Cathay Williams, and I wore the uniform when no one thought I could. Stories like this remind us, history isn't just generals and presidents. Sometimes the real fighters, the real pioneers, the real legends were people history never expected to survive. I am Cathay Williams, and the receipts are official. If you enjoy stories history tried to forget, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to Receipts from the Past, because over here, we check the facts, we spill the tea, and we always bring the proof. History, receipts, no cap.